Hey you, Sculpts here, and on today's episode we are going to be making Sobble. I think that's how you pronounce his name, Sobble. Well, anyway, he is the adorable, sad little chameleon type Pokemon from Pokemon Sword and Shield. I recently got into these games and I gotta say they're really fun. They're different. I understand a lot of people being upset about not all Pokemon being included, but you gotta look at it. There are a ton of Pokemon. If you include all the shinies, there's well over 800. I mean, it is a staggering amount. Anyway, I personally am enjoying exploring everything that Pokemon Sword and Shield has to offer, and Sobble is actually my very first choice. I was torn between him and Groki, the adorable monkey, because the monkey's pretty adorable too, but I ended up choosing the water Pokemon. A bit different, because usually I go for grass types first, but we'll see how it goes. It's really fun. Anyway, he's not that hard of a Pokemon to design. I mean, the head is this odd oval and triangle shape, and his body, I would have to say his body's a bit like a water drop, just not that long point at the top. And he's got the same hands and feet, so that's not really a big deal. It's the same thing with the arms and legs. I mean, just bend the legs, so that's pretty cool. On top of his head he has this, I want to call it a fin. Not too sure if it actually is a fin. I think it's a fin. I don't know. I'm not too sure. But you can't forget that, because that is a traditional look for him. And I gotta say that little fin on top, it's so big compared to the rest of him, because his arms and his legs are so tiny and delicate. Whew. I decided not to have everything attached during the baking process, because I was afraid, because some of these things are super delicate, I was afraid that some of them were going to break. So what I decided to do is make all the components separately and then glue him together. And then once he's finished, he's glued, then I'm gonna paint him. I mean, I could have done him all in colored clay, but I decided not to. I thought, let's take a gamble. Let's completely paint him from scratch. Let's try that, see what happens. Now, as I was placing his eyes, I realized that maybe his head wasn't wide enough, but I still really like the way that he turned out. I really do. I'm happy. Now, I'm using this well, it's not really a stylus tool, it's one of those poke a hole type tool. I don't know what it's called, but I used that to make the outlines of where his belly was going to be, and around the face, so that I would know where the two different colors are. And then I cut out his mouth. Now, I know most images show him being all sad, and that is part of his charm, but I decided to make a happy Sobble, because I figured, I mean, come on, him being happy, it's a rare occurrence, but if you're a good trainer to him, he's going to be happy all the time anyway. And I included his tongue, so he's kind of like happy and sticking out his tongue, going like, yay. Alright, freshly baked, and he's already glued together, so this is what he looks like. Oop, gotta be careful so I don't drop him. Now, I did a white base coat. I don't know how that's gonna turn out. So I did a white base coat, and then I covered him in a bit of a dark aqua blue, his main body, and then his underside and his face were this, I want to say it's kind of a Arctic blue. So I did 2 base coats before I started adding on the actual color of him. Now I'm not really sure what I'm doing when it comes to painting. And it's the first time I did 2 base coats before putting on his actual color. And at the end, I am actually really happy with how he turned out. I thought it was pretty cool. So here we're painting the actual color of his body. It's gonna take a bit. It's very relaxing painting these guys. Should probably do that as a series. Create all the Pokemon out of clay and then paint them. It's food for thought. It might happen. Definitely might happen. Whenever I was holding him at the top of his fin, I was afraid it was going to break off, but luckily I took the right clue, so that's definitely going to stay put. Very happy about that. Now we're gonna paint his eyes. I decided not to leave them white. I decided to base them out in blue because I was still trying to figure out whether I wanted his eyes opened or closed. So that, or maybe have one eye open and the other eye winking, but I wasn't too sure on what his eyes were going to be doing, so I decided to just cover them in blue paint. I had to be very careful around the edges because I did not want to mess up. I really didn't. No. It's very delicate, fine work. Luckily, no mistakes happened, so I'm pretty proud of that. Now the blue's almost done. We just have to add it might be a bone that's holding that fin up. I'm not too sure. I don't know his anatomy. And then once that's done, we are going to color in the little pearl that he's got his tail wrapped around. I don't know if it's a pearl. I don't know if it's a pearl or if it's just a ball. It might be a pearl because he is a water Pokemon. Not too sure. Don't know. But that is also a dark blue. And once that is colored in, we are going to color in his fin, which is the brightest thing on him. It's this bright yellow. Really makes him stand out. That's his charm too. He's a really adorable little guy. Like I was very happy with my first pick. Once we got that done, we are going to be painting the inside of his mouth. Now, could have made it black, but it didn't feel very fitting to make it black, so I made this really dark red and pink type color. Don't ask me the names of paint colors because I don't know them. And then I've made his tone pink, and I decided to have his eyes opened. It made him look more cheerful, more happy. And now that the painting is done, we are going to glaze him completely from the top of his fin down to his feet. I can't say toes because he doesn't have any toes, but we're going to completely glaze him. And then we gotta wait 24 hours for that to dry, but it adds this really, really cool effect that makes him look like he's actually wet. And I love it. I love it. It's great. And we are almost done. Just gotta finish up applying this glaze, and then we'll let it dry. And who's ready? We got the final reveal. And there he is. There he is. The new water type Pokemon of the new generation. I had a lot of fun doing this. I'll see you guys next time.